Thanks for staying with us. Now, political finance covers all funds that are raised and spent for political purposes. Such purposes include all political contests for voting by citizens, especially the election campaigns for various public offices that are run by parties and candidates. The need to raise money to maintain expensive political campaigns diminishes ties to a representative democracy, because of the influence large contributors have over politicians. Politicians spend lavishly during electoral campaigns, and this enhances votes buying and selling. And after the emergence of the highest spender as the winner of the campaign or the politics, what is the hope of good governance? Now, let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp on 081-803-84663. Why is Twitter coming back to my mouth today? Elsie, before we bring in our guests.
About to leave the band now. Maybe you're prophesying.
Right? So before we bring in our guests in a minute, I just wanted to ask. Okay, so we're talking about.
In a minute or two, be completing it.
I will not be. You're always completing my statement for me. I'm just going to ask you, what do you think an average politician spends when it comes to. Okay, let's bring it down to local government.
I don't know, but I know they spend a lot, which is why sometimes when the conversation starts, I don't bother so much, because if you're investing that much, when your father is not the father of Nigeria, if you're investing that much to get into office, then your first point of duty will be to get that money back.
Absolutely.
Before doing anything else, you know. So it worries me. I don't know how that works. I don't understand that dynamics. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation, so we can get clarity. But that's one thing that worries me, because in fact, when it comes to campaign for election, that's one of the places that digital marketers are happy to make money. You know, so they have to spend money. Yeah, to put information out there is not cheap, but how do you get that money? Maybe that's where we should.
Because when they say that some tickets cost as high as 25 million.
Yeah, okay, is that what you're
say,
even going to?
Okay. So let me bring in our guest. Today's not my conversation at all. Jide Adeyemi is a politician, a public speaker, a life coach, and a brand strategist whose career spans decades working with various multinationals. Now, Jide loves to travel, and he's very passionate about the legislation. And he's joining live in studio with us. Hello, Jide.
Hello.
Our politician.
He's trying not to be called a politician. That's what you are. Are you not?
Even for the mere fact that you say you don't want to be called a politician, that's the more reason you're a politician.
But I have a first address.
Which is?
Brand strategy.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So we you know, every Monday we try to dedicate our Mondays towards conversations around nation building that pushes, you know, the narrative and the right conversations towards good governance. Because everybody in Nigeria, I mean, there's nobody that does not want good governance, and that's part of why we just have some of these kinds of conversation. And we were just thinking, you know, what the role of finance is when it comes to politics. I mean, you have run for office before. I mean, is money really that important?
To start with, I want to run for office in the next election, so that's the right information. The role of finance in politics cannot be overemphasized. There's a lot of fund required, and there's the part where we talk about the legitimate and the right funding, and then the other side. So running for office, I need to create two things. First is popularity, then the second is acceptance. How do I get popular when people don't know me? So I need to do a lot of engagement. I need to do a lot of meetings, mobilization, and of course, it requires a lot of traveling, it requires a lot of resources. You will have people that are going to work with you either as permanent staff or as volunteers. Even volunteers, you have to
give them something.
Fund their activities. It requires accommodation at times, feeding, logistics, transportation. And of course, you know, when we start the process properly, there's a lot required for me to get share of voice. You need top of mind awareness. And then you're talking to Plus TV, you know what a spot costs.
Of course.
And then when my competitor is having 200 spots on Plus TV, I don't want to be draft, so I need to do at about 250. So you make a good campaign manager. So in that talking about that, then a whole lot of fund is required. Merchandise, printing of materials, a lot of engagement. You need an office. You need to run an office just like you run your business to do this. So if you look at it, you'll be right to say a lot of fund is required.
So where do politicians source funds from? Or let me make it personal. Where are you sourcing your funds from?
So where am I sourcing my funds from? Two places. First is my money, which I legitimately work for. Really? Which I'm working for. And secondly is from people who have chosen to believe in the GDRDME project, people who believe in the value proposition I'm selling, and they've decided to come around and say, oh, let me support you. I'll give you an example. I had a project last week where we impacted over 500 people in Ibadan. A lady came forward and said, oh, I would like to produce face masks for you. A friend decided to produce the flyer. A friend produced the jingle. Another person gave me T-shirts. So I enjoyed support from friends. So in that case, I don't necessarily have to overstretch my wallet.
So you mentioned something about the legitimate fund, because I know that there was a time Barack Obama did crowdfunding when he wanted to run, right? You know,
even Nigerians contributed.
Yes, you know. And I remember even us in Nigeria too, we did at some point we did crowdfunding. I can't remember which government was it. Maybe it was Buhari's government, I can't remember. But
we did for sure.
Yeah, we did crowdfunding as well. So when you say legitimate funds, right? What is legitimate fund? You know, does the legitimacy of the fund now equates to the what's it called, accountability that the candidate eventually would have because of where the money is coming from? So
the right thing to do if you are running for office is to have a financial system, and of course your campaign organization needs to be accountable. As a matter of fact, even INEC expects to get your financial report 6 months after the election, and there's a ceiling of how much you're supposed to spend. So if you want to be president, you cannot do more than 1 billion. You want to be governor, 200 million, and 40 million, up to 1 million for councillor like that. So,
sorry, are those figures hypothetical? You're being serious when you said 1 billion?
You're not supposed to. That's what this
is the ceiling. So it's expected that you are not supposed to go beyond. That's the maximum.
That's what I'm saying. That's ceiling. Don't you think it's also faulty? 1 billion. Are you supposed to make 1 billion in 4 years?
Let him finish that train of thought first, because I was coming to that.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting this night. So the point is, the right thing to do, and I'm talking about the right thing to do, the legitimate thing to do, which is what some of us, the new school of thought, have decided to do so that we can change the narrative. Because if you want proper governance, then there must be accountability. The process must also be transparent. The process must be open and very, very legit. So the right thing to do is to spend money on all of those things that I've listed before, which are the right thing for you to do. So when you now begin to spend money to induce votes, then it's no longer the right thing. So when people crowdfund for you and then you are not accountable to them, then it's getting on the other side. So the question is, how do we ensure that the right things are done? The question I've always asked is, how do we ensure that the INEC Electoral Act is enforced so that we can have a better democracy than what we have at the moment?
Because, you know, it's just running through my head, because I was coming to the next question that, you know, because if a small councillor is already spending 100 million because you buy fire by... No, that's you. That's what INEC has said, they should not go beyond. But we know that in the nitty-gritty of the running to ground, they have to wet hands, they have to wet some palms, they have to do that, you know. So where is that legality of now demanding for good governance when somebody has spent so much, right? And, you know, what is too much, you know, when it comes to election funding?
So in terms of demand for legality, we first need to educate the populace. We need to change our mindset. A lot of people believe that when you are running for election, you are prepared, you are positioned for corruption. So
yes,
it's a case
Are
of...
we wrong to say that?
Absolutely wrong. And,
no, I don't think so.
I say that emphatically. You can look at me the way you like, but I will say it again. It is wrong for you to think that, because what people do is, oh, he's running for election, so when he get there, he's going to take our money. In some cases, oh, he's running for election, he was commissioner the other time, so he has our money with him. Let us spend it. Someone approached me and then explained to me that, I like your ideas, they are quite innovative, but we have supported people in the past, they get there and they forget us. So now, we would rather get what we expect from you. So if you get there and forget us, we wouldn't have lost. Instead, then when the guy gets there and he doesn't remember you, then you are demanding good governance. So the mentality also needs to change. People need not put their family burden on aspirants or on candidates. So when your child gives birth, you don't necessarily have to come to me and say, Jide Omoyin Bimo. Then I begin to ask Jibade or Jadisola and say, is yours okay? Is your son, right? You have the process of pregnancy is 9 months. What are you looking? But because someone is contesting an election, you have to put that on his doorstep. So there's also the challenge of the community also on these people. So we need to look at both ways. There are people who feels that, oh, for me to vote for you, I need to get something. And I tell people, vote buying transaction does not have any repeat purchase until another 4 years, if you are lucky. So we also need to then begin to talk to the people and say, you need to stop this. We need to educate them. A lot of people claim, oh, it is poverty and all that. But then your poverty will not be erased with 2,000 naira.
Okay. But is this possible? You know what, Elsie? Let's go on a very short break.
Okay.
Is it possible vote buying not to stop in this country?
It is
We'll
possible.
be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, vote buying. We are discussing the role of finance in politics and good governance. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Okay, so before we on break, Elsie, you're going to come in.
And I'm going to take it very gradual, right? Why you're running for office soon? Why do you want to get into that position?
Okay. So I believe that one of the challenges with this country is the enforcement of our laws. We have everything that will make us a great nation. So people run red lights and then there's no punishment. People dip their hands into government money and there's no punishment. So legislation plays a bigger role in good governance. And I discovered that, oh, I have got some ideas to ensure that this happens. So legislation also play a huge role in terms of growth and development. You can bring development and growth into your community with legislation because we can agree and say this has to be this way. It is this way, and then we have laws to do some of those things. So enforcement of law then become one of those things. And I've seen what people in government are doing. We can do better than this. This country can be greater than this. We've got all the resources required. We only need to channel it in the right way and then change the narrative. For some of us who are seemingly tired of the story, and then we felt that...
No, but you're tired of the story. I was going to say, because you said that it is possible to stop vote buying. How possible is that when there's still poverty, there's still very, very poor education? There are so many factors that would make... You can't come and meet me now tomorrow and say, oh, I take 5,000 naira, let me vote for you. It's not possible. Even if you give me 1 million naira, I will still not vote for you if you're not my candidate. Because why? My mind is on a different pedestal. I'm thinking, okay, what are you truly bringing to the table? Are you going to transform Nigeria? But these people that you're talking about, 2,000 naira, 1,005, you understand, they're already selling their votes. You know, it's a function of the lineup. As they're collecting, they're going to go and vote. They do not think. So do you think it's possible that it will truly change overnight? And because this is why a lot of people require huge funds. Outside of all the things that they've done, the campaign tickets and all of those things, the campaign materials, everything you've mentioned, they still have to keep set aside funds. I know of how money moves at night, a night to the election day. They move the money, you understand, because people's hands, they say they have to grease their palms. This is the standard that we have set. So how, do you think overnight it can change because somebody is thinking, oh, I want to bring good, whatever. Even if we are bringing good to them right now, they're not thinking straight. So how do we solve the problem?
So we need you guys in the media to do proper education. So we need to educate our people. Political awareness is something that we lack. All people just know is that I want to go out there and vote. The question is, what is your role as a citizen? The biggest office in Nigeria is the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic, which all of us occupies without necessarily having any position. So when we educate the people and then let them understand that you are selling your future for as low as 2,000 naira. You don't have the right to demand good governance when you do that. That is on one part. On the other part, if we enforce our law, there's a law against vote buying. All we need to do is to enforce that law. Agreed, some vote buying happens behind closed door, but a lot of vote buying happen in daylight, where people are on the queue and then someone. So when you prosecute somebody, it becomes easy for other people to sit tight. But then a lot of this go without any, what's it called? Any punishment or whatever. So when we begin to do all of that, and I kept saying that this country can be greater than this if we only enforce our laws. There are laws against all of these things. We must enforce those laws. When you see someone as a culprit, then people will sit tight. It's one of those conversations we're having just before we come on here, saying that when someone has done something wrong, don't encourage the person. Let us come together and say this. You know, growing up, all of us remember the days when our parents say, remember this child of who you are. Then parents are beginning to now say now that, oh, your friend is using range. What's happening to you? You want to disgrace me. So even our value system as a family is going down the drain. And then we just want to put all the blame on the politician. No, we need to look at the 360 and then look for a solution.
Okay, so you belong to a political party.
Absolutely,
what is
yes.
the role of the structure of a political party in solving this issue of vote buying?
Okay, so what every political party needs to do is to look for a legitimate way of gaining power. And then the role of the party structure, number one, is to encourage internal democracy, where even the election within the party...
Did you see what happened in Anambra State over the weekend? Continue.
I was busy. So these are the things that we need to do. And as funny as this sounds and we're laughing, it is the right thing for us to do. We need to begin to look at all of those things. And that is why I encourage people like you, get into the system.
So we need to stop vote buying in the political parties first, Abi?
But wait.
No, we need
Why are you not being honest with us?
Wait now.
Who are the people that pay for votes? It is the political parties. It is the structure.
So, which is what I'm asking,
it is the party structure. It is not you that is the person camp. It is not you.
But there's an offer and acceptance.
It's not issue of offer and acceptance.
So
at some point, they don't care what you think, because you are just a figurehead representing. Our party must win, and we must win at all costs. So they will send their foot soldiers to go around all those wards and give money. So it is not even at some point. It's
not even the candidate.
It not concern you anymore as candidates. You know, it is the structure that will say APC has to win, or PDP has to win, or ABGA has to win. So they have to move their arsenals to the field to go and get the job done. So what are we saying? It's not going to change anything.
We need to stop the desperation.
Okay.
And in stopping
in the political party.
In the political party, for individuals, the desperation to also get money from candidates by the people.
You know why I'm hammering on the political parties?
Yes.
Because even if I am desperate and I have to join the political party in Nigeria, the way it works for me to become or to run for an office here, if I'm desperate and I come into that space and this structure is so strong and very enforcing of its rules and regulations that I know that I cannot break it without being faulted by that party, then I'll sit up and behave right. So the structure of the party itself would also help in solving this issue from the internal part, like you have said, ensure that there's democracy in the political party. So if we do not have democracy in our political parties, why do we think we have democracy in Nigeria?
Yeah, so I like this question, and I go back to what I've said. We leave this for the guys who are there now, forgetting that you cannot drive a car from the back seat. So as long as all of us, young people, people watching us from home, decide to sit and tweet, we might not get the required change. I've always told people that when people of integrity, people with purpose join political party and they are minority, the system will swallow them. But then when we get more of these people into the system, and then gradually, nothing will change overnight. You want an overnight miracle.
I do not want it. You're the one that said it's possible.
It is possible. It is possible, and there's a process to it.
Yes.
So one of the process is the fact that we need more of sincerity and integrity in our system. People need to think Nigeria first before they think of political party or before they think of individual. So what we have seen in the past are the things that we need to change. So politics for some years have become a business. So you go into it and then you invest 20 million and then you are expecting to make 30 million. No, that shouldn't be the right thing. However, I must also tell you that there are people in all the political parties in Nigeria who truly are passionate about this country and working for the progress of the country. So a lot of time we don't see them because we focus on the negatives without looking at the positive.
So who are these people?
Look on the bright side.
I like this, your smile. I wish smiles could win election. You are already a winner. But you see, the thing is, okay, so how do we move forward? Because we're running out of time. Because we truly want good governance, right? And we know that for as long as the political structure and politics, you know, elections, voting and all of that is still heavily influenced by funders, right? It's not going to really have any headway because if I come and I give you 1 billion naira and you win your seat that you are running for, I will need like 5 billion naira in return. So before you even think of doing the work, you would have paid me my complete money back.
Your return should be that I'm going to change the country.
No, not me and you. I invested money. I invested money.
Now you have joined them.
No, this is the structure. I'm painting the picture.
Back to how much you collect
from
people, and that is why you go back to saying crowdfunding is better, because in crowdfunding, a person can wake up and give 15 naira, and that person gives 15 naira. We are not coming to say you have to change the policy to suit me because I put 15 naira. Absolutely. But if one person comes out and drops bullion van,
do you understand? So if I give you, I mean, it's business. I'm just painting the real scenario here. And this is why we have a lot of problem in Nigeria. And it seems like we're not moving forward. Because now, when these people eventually emerge, like I said, as I said earlier, it is not about you at some point. They have to make sure you win. Because they have invested a lot of money in your candidacy, right? If they know that they have done that and they pumped that money has to come back. And it doesn't come back the way they gave you. It comes back maybe 5 times or 10 times over what it was given.
Are you speaking from experience?
Well,
because
I'm the one asking the questions here.
I also see a lot of assumptions. See, I would like that we end this conversation on a solution note.
Yes, that's where I'm going. So where's the way forward?
So way forward, first, I insist we must educate our people. Okay. We need political awareness. I'm looking for a day where people will say that, oh yes, I collected 5,000 naira from you and I'm not voting for you. I will be very excited because it shows that we are aware. And then people will know that they can no longer take us for a ride. If we relook our electoral act and tighten all the loose ends so that we cover all of these, there are too many loopholes that allow all of these things. And then when we say that, oh, INEC rules and regulation is XYZ, ensure that rules and regulation is enforced to the latter.
If it's not enforced, who are we supposed to? How do we hold INEC accountable? Because they are supposed to make sure that
we have the legal system to fix that. So our legal system also needs to be fixed. And I'll tell you one of the challenges I have with the legal system when it comes to constant election. It takes too much time before we come at resolving it. So it should be something that can be dealt with as fast as possible. And then people also begin to say that, okay, if I do this, I will not have my way. Because if we don't enforce these regulations, it will come to nothing. You can make laws. If the laws are not enforced, nothing will happen. So when we deal with that, then we also need to deal with poverty in this country. Trust me, some people struggle. So I'm one of those who says, oh, stomach infrastructure is not sustainable for me. And the reason why I say that is that if I give you 1 bag of rice, when you finish eating it,
you'll come back.
You'll come back. So how about empowering you so that you know how to get rice as against coming back again? But poverty has so deepened our sense of reasoning that people fall for 500 naira. So we need to tackle poverty in this country. When we tackle poverty, 2,000 naira will begin to mean nothing to some people. And then when you, so a lot of politicians also look at the people and see, oh, their price is just 1,000 naira.
I was coming there because I feel that poor education or no education and poverty are the two weapons that our politicians in Nigeria have continued to use as a weapon to be at the positions where they're at or where they're in. Because if you keep somebody poor and you keep the person uneducated, whatever you tell the person to do, that's what the person will do. So if you want to see a serious government, what do you think they should be doing in regards, what's it called, solving this poverty problem and the education problem?
So when you educate a nation, you free the nation. So when you educate people, they get freedom automatically.
The step, practical.
So the practical step is to, first and foremost, take a second look at our educational system. The environment where people train. You know, we need a more conducive environment. Even we need to begin to look at the curriculum. What exactly are we teaching? How do I know my right as a citizen? How do I know that I need to play a role as a citizen of this country? And not necessarily things that don't work when they leave school. So we need to relook that system. Empower the teachers so that they can give the right information and then make the system work. There are places all over the world where people prefer to go to government school as against private school.
Of course.
So why is it working? So we need to look into that system. If we look into that system, then we will be out of this mess. And then when we talk about good governance for me, I describe it as the right use of resources to provide development and growth for people. So we need to then begin to provide good governance that will help people take them out of poverty. People can even get out of poverty themselves if they are properly educated.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
and then we can begin to, then we need to change our mindset in this country. We need to change the orientation that every politician is a crook. It is not
somebody
so.
has asked you a question
So,
from, sorry, Elsie, from the UK. Ade says, good evening, ladies. Please ask your guest, how do you recover all electoral campaign expenses once he gets to office? Is this not the politician's first agenda on their list before embezzling public funds? The more.
Very good question. So for me, I always tell people it's about building the future. If you want to build the future, then you think Nigerian first. If you want to build the future, you think about the
How are you planning to recover your money back? I did not ask you a question.
The funds that goes into
yes. Do you consider it gone?
Electionary process are not funds that you're expected to recover.
Okay.
No, they are not. So I tell people, if you are coming into politics, the funds that you cannot part with, don't bring it. Someone once told me that, oh, you want to run for election, can you throw 10 million naira inside the river and watch it
sink,
flow away? I was like, yeah. Say yes, because political money does not have receipt. So when you come in, so you must be passionate about the country to be able, because the question is, a lot of people talk about, oh, the money they get and all that. What is this monthly salary of politicians that can, as a matter of fact, you must be willing to make your business suffer because you'll be away from your business for some time. Your family will have to sacrifice. So there's a lot of sacrifice required in nation building.
But you see, when you see this, so, the goal that was said before me, Elsie, take your question.
So it's road to 2023, right? And
yes.
INEC has started registration today and all that. What do you see happening?
So I'm excited with this registration because a lot of new things are beginning to happen. So I sit in my room and then I can apply. I can change my polling unit. So we don't see this seamless thing happening before. So I'm excited. I feel proud as a Nigerian that we started something new. And what I see us doing and what I also want to do is to follow this with voters education, encourage people to vote, let them understand the fact that their vote counts. Because a lot of people don't come out to vote because they think their vote does not count. Also, let people understand that the sacrifice of standing 30 minutes on the queue to vote is your investment in nation building.
So I think we've moved past that standing on the queue to vote. I think for me, I've learned that what we need to educate people on is the decisions. So we need to go at party level to pick the right candidate that will represent the interest of the people, right? So it's not so much because at the polling unit, it's already too late. It is whoever the party decides. If they want to bring Jide Adeyemi, that is, I mean, we will just vote. But you see, at the place where decisions are taken, where they now identify and a candidate emerge, that is where the real power is. So I think if we want to start educating people, it's more to get involved into more political parties where we can now become people that would now pick candidates to say, okay, at least this one, I trust him, I've seen his work, he's doing a great job, he will represent us well. Don't you think so?
So that's been my my philosophy also. Earlier in the year, I encourage people to join my political party. And the simple thing I tell people is that you cannot be part of decision making if you are not seated where this is being discussed. If we're putting dinner on this table, if you are not on this table, you cannot partake in the dinner. So the question is, everybody, young people, old people, we all need to participate. We all need to, you don't have to join any of the leading political parties. You have to join a political so that you can be part of the process of selecting the right people. And if we begin to do this, then the story begins to change.
So if you say it doesn't have to be leading political party, what change are we going to make if you join a party that just started today? And if we're going to be sincere with ourselves, we have two parties that are always and almost always running their affairs when it comes to finally giving us a candidate. So don't you think it is those leading parties that should be infiltrated in order to be able to influence the kind of candidates that ends up getting into the office?
What kind of change that we want?
I'll be happy to have you guys in our political party because it offers you opportunity to join us in nation building. And I like the way you guys smile. You know, so
this is your political side now showing itself. But go ahead.
I like your question, and I've advised a lot of people about this. But what I tell people is that you need to join the system. So when I say that you don't necessarily have to join it, because a lot of people say, oh, Jide, I want to be part of the system, but I'm not a fan of any of these two political parties. And I tell them, it will take you a longer process. There are 774 local governments in Nigeria. So a local government could have as much as 100 polling units, or a local government have 30 wards. So for you to have representation in 774 times 30, it will take you two electionary process. So it then becomes interesting for you to join the flagship party or to join the party in government, for example, for you to be part of.
Me and you. You know, there's just too much drama going on in all those parties in government and all of that. But I mean, I strongly agree with you. You know, we really can't do much with newer parties. You must really, if we say we want to see a drastic change, we must infiltrate the existing big boys, you know, and put the right people in there, and hopefully we'll be able to get, you know.
It's a game of numbers. So if you infiltrate the system and you come with the larger share, then absolutely you become majority.
Is it just about coming with numbers or coming with ideas and getting people who
so
would
the first thing,
understand those ideas and where Nigeria is supposed to go?
The first thing
where is Nigeria even going to?
So Nigeria is going to a good place, and we're seeing some development, and it's not as fast as we expect. Okay. But of course, we have seen progress in so many areas. A lot of things make us feel bad. I don't argue about that. But then change doesn't happen in one day. So the question is the fact that all of us need to come on board and participate in nation building. So I keep saying.
So where are you starting from quickly? Because we run out of time. So, what are you running for? So
I want to go to the House of Reps to represent the people of Ibadan North East and Southeast Federal Constituency. Oh,
okay, fantastic. Yeah. Because I hear some people, you want to start, say you want to go and start from presidency. I say good luck to you. But that's a good way to start, actually. Yeah. That's a good way to start. Thank you so much. We hope we'll bring you back when the campaigns have started full gear.
It will be a pleasure.
But by that time, you're going to be paying us.
See?
That's our job.
See,
It's part of the campaign. No, he already has it in his budget. Don't worry.
We'll be getting support from you so that we can minimize electioneering budget.
I agree.
So
You have to keep us
on
on air.
behalf of my team, I want to say thank you to Plus TV for the support, and we appreciate this.
We appreciate this.
We'll pay you back with
I'm
good
not part
governance.
of the politician because I don't understand. We appreciate
We'll
this.
pay you back with good
We
governance.
will.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so if remember to follow us, ensure you follow us at Way Show before we go. At Way Show Africa, you can interact with us further, drop your comments, and we're planning a huge giveaway. So hopefully when we start the giveaway, you would have been following us by then. Tell your friends to follow us on Instagram. It's at Way Show Africa. In case you missed today's quote, here it is again. Politics is the gentle art of getting votes from the poor and campaign funds from the rich by promising to protect each from the other. Our guest is shaking his head. He does not agree with our quote, but that's our quote for today. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring you another great conversation. Enjoy.